Yes, from then batch production, if we move into automobile domain, so basically we have
Yeah.
different parts of different cars being manufactured, like lights and bumpers and all the various parts. So for a particular plant, suppose Maruti plants, we are manufacturing Wagoner, Swift, and all different types of cars. So these cars
Okay.
require different parts that are being manufactured in certain lots or batches. So
Yeah.
that that production is called as batch production. Being manufactured,
Can
suppose a
you
part is being
more?
manufactured for, yes ma'am.
Yeah. You be a little more elaborate, Tarun. Yeah. Continue. You were. I think you were telling.
Yes ma'am. So suppose if we are into manufacturing of lights, so headlights for Swift are being manufactured for certain period of time. There'll be a batch.
Okay.
Then we
Okay.
may move on to manufacturing of lights of Wagoner. There'll be a different batch,
Okay.
and in certain
Okay.
ways, different components. Suppose bumpers may be manufactured. Now, if we move on to more generic forms, so there are companies like the headlights is
Okay.
being manufactured by Minda. So Minda manufactures light for Volkswagen also.
Hmm.
So in
Oh
one
yeah.
company
Correct.
only, different uh, automobile parts are being manufactured for various companies.
Parts will be required where which has a, yeah, only the brand names might
Yes
change or
ma'am.
something like, right? And I also told yesterday in the class that if you go to the Reliance Mart or if you go to the More Mart, at some point of time only one particular colors of the bucket will be there. Sometimes you can see only all shades of pink color buckets being seen in the market, or once if you go, all blue color shades of buckets in the market will be available. That's because this plastical industry, when they buy the plastic granules, they either buy in the colors of blue or in the colors of pink, right? Once when these plastic granules are bought, they put it into production means at the end, definitely you know how the production happens for plastic for making the plastic granules. At the end, they have to produce the plastic granules in the process cycle. Then the process cycle is completed. Then they have to produce the plastic granules. Then the plastic granules are processed. Then the plastic granules are recycled. Then the recycled plastic granules are used in manufacturing of cars, bikes, and they make use of uh, they make use of blue color. They change the color. Then we have a continuous section of blue color in the market, right? So this is how the batch production works, right? So when a target is fixed, they produce it until the end, right? Next they take the target, they produce it till the end, but at some point or the other they make sure their production cycle is the same, and there is no change the sequence of operation. All the processes are almost in line with the different operations they follow, right? This is the characteristics of batch production. You wanted me to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. What will be the advantages? First, let's forget about going this. In batch production, we can always think, if you you will not lose many customers, right? You will have always a tendency to open your market, or you have a tendency to get more number of customers for your production cycle, right? When you get more production, definitely more profit will be there, right? So it is like, for all these people who have invested low small amount of money, they always would prefer to make big money, right? So when they take up this production cycle, that is a batch production, they are always targeting towards making more money. So what is it? Their advantages are better utilization of plant and machinery. By inviting more customers, since the process cycle is same, so more customers they can keep getting it. If they do that, they have better utilization of plant and machinery. And then they can be more precise with their function, right? So this is also one of the advantage. Then cost, since it is an production batch, sometimes the cost per unit also will be lowered when they are trying, when the company is only trying to manufacture the product, so these people will try to reduce their price. Then lower investment in plant and machinery, because you need not change the process cycle, or you need not change the machines, operation remains the same. You keep getting different customers where you can operate for everybody, right? Then you have flexibility to accommodate and process number of products. There is definitely a large amount of flexibility in batch production. If you want a flexibility, then batch production is the one which you have to have, right? Then you have sorry then this job satisfaction for operators is always existing because they know what they want to do and how they can control the process. Everything is achieved in batch production. Job satisfaction, so the customers are definitely happy with their product, so definitely the employees will be satisfied with their job, right? Then similarly, the disadvantages will be production planning and control will be complex when if a slight mistake happens, in place of if you have to fix the logo, in place of Maruti Udyog, if you fix up Honda logo, then the entire operation will go in a loss. The entire product has to be put for scrap. So therefore, production planning and control is little complex. You have to take the steps at the right step, otherwise you will encounter loss. So production planning and control has to be done very accurately. Then work in process inventory is higher because you're going to have huge number of customers. Work in process inventory also will be higher, right? More people, more different products you're going to get. So there are always see, sometimes it so happens that if the customer asks 96 products, right? 96 they want 96 pieces, but the company, the machines or something, when you're buying the raw material, you have a tendency to produce about 100 products. Then these products add up some space in the inventory. So your inventory needs to be, will be always in a higher section. You cannot tell I can only manufacture 94. When you buy the raw material will be excess. Then you cannot think of cutting down the product to 94. Definitely sometimes it is not in our hands, the production scale will go up to 100. Then the small amount of products which are stored in the inventory will try to bring about some kind of inventory cost to the organization. Then definitely there will be a higher setup cost due to frequent changes. Sometimes there will be minor changes, especially in automated industries. There may be minor changes in trying to bring about a deviation from the setup, right? So that time there will be a high setup cost. Any doubts? Shall I move on to the next one?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Boys, I want to quickly do with this. Anybody's having a doubts? Shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Boys, I want an answer from you.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think there is some network lag. Sometimes when there is a network lag, I cannot hear your voice. So next, I'll move on to the next slide. Then you have mass production. Mass production, I said, when you have to manufacture discrete parts or assemblies, especially when you're studying about group technology or something, there you will study about this mass production. When you want to produce discrete parts or assemblies, is usually you produce in a continuous process called mass production, right? This mass production is such a that when you try to incline your production process to it when you have large volume of production, right? And the sequence of machines arranged can either be in line layout or in a product layout. That is irrespective for this mass production. You can have all dates on one side, you can have all drilling machines on one side. If you have visited the BFW organization, Bharat Fritz and Werner organization, you can come across this mass production concept there. And you can also see about the line layout and the product layout, which and all operations require line layout, they have arranged them in the line layout. Which and all process they require for product layout, they have arranged them in the product layout, right? So can somebody, okay, this is the characteristics and mass production, about mass production. So mass production, quickly, since I've done in the last class, I just want to rush up. Standardization of product and process sequence, dedicated special purpose machines. In HMT also you can see the dedicated special purpose machines having high production capacity, output rates. Large volume of products will be produced by this mass production. Low in process inventory, perfectly balanced production lines, then flow of materials and components and parts is continuous without having any backtracking, bottleneck, all avoided in mass production. Has to be avoided mass production, only then you can achieve your targeted production. Then production planning and control is easy because everything has a unique flow of sequence. So once when there is a unique flow of sequence, definitely controlling will not be a difficult job. The process also will flow smooth enough, right? Then material handling will be completely automatic in mass production. Then quickly I'll go back to advantages and disadvantages. It has higher production with reduced cycle time. Then you have higher capacity of utilization due to line balancing. It has less skilled operators. It has low process inventory, and manufacturing cost per unit will be low. Then what are the limitations? Suppose if there is a breakdown of one machine, then the entire production has to stop, right? So it will delay our production of products also. So we have to make sure that all machines will be serviced at the right time to not to have any disadvantages in the to have our production cycle to be in a smooth flow. Then line layout needs a major change when there is a change in the product design, because line layout is designed in such a way that it works on the sequence of flow of the process. But when you're trying to incorporate some new design or new product or something like that, then there has to be some major changes just introduced in the layout of the sequence of the machines, right? So in such cases, what we have to do, we have to make sure that our while designing the layout itself, there has to be some flexibility in our the layout. So if only if we have the flexibility component, our we can go through with this mass production. Then we have high investment in production facilities, right? So because it has to go in a large volume production, and the machines have to be well quality enough, so it definitely there will be a high investment involved in the production facilities. Then the cycle time is determined by the slowest cycle time. If you have the point is we need to have three productions per day when you're having a mass production, but the cycle time has minimum it is, then only you can go through a large production rate. But if since the cycle time is less, there are always a chances that they can encounter some kind of errors or rejections or reworks, right? So we have to take care that such kind of errors or rejections will not happen in our production line. Any doubts, please message in the chat section so that I can move on fast.
Without.
Can I move on? Any doubts? Because I'm not able to hear you. I just want you to no doubts, ma'am. Okay. Now we are moving on to continuous production. Continuous production is also called as intermittent production. Continuous production is something in which all the machines or all the operation of for the product is arranged as per the sequence of the production operations from the first machine to the last machine, right? If I suppose if I take an example of trying to have a textile industry, then what will have first the sequence will be the cutting section, then will be the marking section, then will be the stitching section, then will be the final assembly section, then will be the ironing and ironing section, then will be the packing section, right? So you have to arrange in a continuous sequence so that the job will undergo its job in a correct sequence, and finally will lead to the warehouse where it can be ready for shipping operation, right? So and each operation without the cutting section, it cannot move to the assembly section, right? So we have to make sure that it moves down in the correct sequence so as to reach the production line. Am I clear? So next we move on to the characteristics of the continuous continuous production. So what is it? It has a dedicated plant and equipment with zero flexibility. It has a material handling with fully automated process flows, a predetermined sequence of operation. Component materials cannot be readily identified with the final product. Planning and scheduling is a routine. It has to go through a routine of planning and schedule. Is it clear? Now next we move on to advantages and disadvantages. Advantages: since the process is well defined, then there will be no delay in the production, and because there is a process is predefined, high rates of production with reduced cycle time is possible. Then we have high capacity utilization of the machines due to line balancing. No, you cannot come across machines having idle time, right? Then you can also see that manpower is not required since it is all in a continuous production. You can make use of robotics or conveyor system or some kind of material handling system to handle the complete material. uh, then persons with limited skills, you need not have huge investment for having laborers with good skills or something like that to have on the production line, since it's completely automated. One operator to check the production line or to have the control on the production line is sufficient enough when you're working on the continuous production cycle. Is it clear? Then unit cost is lower due to high volume of production. Then what are the limitations? Since it has a is it has to have flexibility. If it does not have flexibility, it cannot accommodate the, because the demands of customers keep changing from time to time. Then definitely it has to have flexibility to accommodate the new designs as well as the process for satisfying the customers, right? Then it has to have very high investment when you're doing the setting up of lines, when you're setting up the line layout. Then product differentiation is limited. You have to be in a position to identify or differentiate the different products so that each product goes to their respective customers. Next, I'll move on to productivity, right? So what is productivity? As I cannot hear you, it's going to be because in the lag in the network, uh, I'm not able to hear you. So I'm just going to go down. Productivity is basically a measure of efficiency of production. uh, we always to put it in to put it in a better words, we say it's a ratio of what is produced to the ratio of what is required to produce it, right? Or other simple words, we can say productivity will be total outputs by inputs. What are the outputs? Those will be goods and services divided by all the raw materials, material capital plus energy, right? So this will be termed as a productivity. Now, to understand what is productivity, suppose if a farmer has 1 acre of land, right? And if he can produce about 10, 10 in earlier production, he produced only about 9 acres of, in 1 acre of land in earlier, he produced only about 9 bags of rice. But in the next yield, if he produces 10 more bags, then we call it as a productivity, right? In 1 acre, if he's producing 10 from the actual production cost, if he's producing 10 more bags, then definitely that will be a productivity. The other example will be, in a usual practice, if they have 15 meters of shirt and if they had produced about 13 10 shirts, instead of you buying 15-meter cloth, you can buy, always think of reducing the cost and reducing the cloth material, and think of buying 13-meter cloth and trying to produce the same 10 product 10 shirts, right? So if we, in place of having 15 meters of cloth and producing 10 shirts, and if there is a next production engineer who chooses to choose a raw material in which he buys only 13 meters of the raw material and produces 10 shirts, definitely definitely that's where we call it as a productivity. Is it clear? With less quantity, when you try to bring about more product, we may, that is effective utilization of raw materials, then we call it as a productivity, right? So this is how we understand the productivity. But for productivity, what are the resources for production? What are the resources? It will be your land and building, all that capital we invest for for setting up a firm, that it can be, the location has to be convenient enough where the facilities should be planned. Then we look for materials. Materials can be, should be properly effectively converted into products. Then machines should be effectively utilized. If you have invested so much money onto the producting, onto the organization, then we have to make sure that the machines are effectively utilized. Then manpower is one of the most important resources of production. There is always, if you have a manpower, he has to make sure that he has a good knowledge on planning, good knowledge on control, right? Without these two, he cannot make the productivity effective enough. So manpower should suit. There is no point in not simply hiring people for the job. You should make sure that the person is skilled enough or has the necessary resources for him to run the firm effectively, right? So these are the resources for production. Am I clear? Boys, if you have any doubts, please post. You have no doubts?
Yeah, ma'am.
Am I clear in what I'm trying to tell? Have you understood what is productivity?
Yes, ma'am.
Boys, I think you need to post in the chat section. Clear, ma'am. Okay. Next, importance of productivity. I think I leave it to you. Productivity is very important because we need to make profit. With limited resources, we need to produce maximum output. So this is one of the most key motto of any organization. Having limited resources and trying to produce the maximum output must be the key motto of any organization. Then uh, we have to make sure that we should at least make an attempt to try to perform a job by cheaper and safer and quicker ways, right? uh, so this productivity, this is what is productivity, right? Importance of productivity is very as simple as that is, with limited resources try to make maximum output, right? So this is importance of productivity, right? uh, Measurements of productivity, as I said, I want you to note down somewhere the important formulas for productivity. Was, are you taking it down? Was, what I'm going to do is, in this slide only, I'm going to insert a new slide. These formulas, because in tomorrow's class I think I will be solving problems, and these formulas will help you to solve the problems. Is it clear? So first will be total productivity index. Total productivity index is given as total outputs. Is it clear? The next formula, which also can, if you want to be more appropriate, I can also tell this formula as is total production of goods and services divided by labor plus material plus capital. See all this, these are all the inputs, right? If you see this is all the outputs. Are you clear? So next, the other formula will be to labor productivity index. Are you taking down, boys? Index is equal to total output divided by man hours worked. Okay. Next will be management management productivity index. Boys, if you are not, if you want me to increase the size, please let me know. I hope it's visible for you all. See, yes, Chinmay. This entire thing is only one formula. This entire thing is one formula. Total productivity index is equal to total output by total input. Now, what is total output? Total production of goods and services, total output. And what is the total input? It is labor plus material plus capital plus energy. Did you get it, Chinmay? Okay. Management productivity index is equal to output unit by total cost of management. MGMT, I'm going to write for short for management. So make a note of it. MGMT is the short form for management. Then machine productivity index is equal to total output divided by machine hours worked. Next, land productivity, which is also total output total output divided by area of land used. And remember, in all the cases, the productivity should be greater than 1. In all the cases, the productivity should be greater than 1. Be greater than or equal to 1. Okay? These are the formulas which we'll be using for when we are solving problems on measurements of productivity. So I want you to have a knowledge on total productivity total productivity index, labor productivity index, management productivity index. Boys, is it clear? Have you taken down these formulas? Have you taken down these formulas? Any doubts there in the formula section? Measurements of productivity? Please post in the chat section. Yes, I'm able to hear you now. No doubts, ma'am. Okay. Tarun, can you talk? Can you say something? I just want to know if I can hear you. Tarun,
Yes, ma'am.
Chinmay. No, I'm not able to hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay. So we saw the measurements of productivity. Now let's see what are the factors affecting productivity. What are the factors? What could be the factors affecting productivity? It could be basically the factors will be classified as two factors. One is internal factors, the other one will be external factors. The internal factors, whatever our raw materials are, it could be material, it could be plant layout, it could be our product design, it could be our work study techniques, it could be our quality control, it could be management techniques, right? So these are all coming under the internal factors, all that are associated within us to bring about which in which we are failing to bring about the productivity, we claim them as the internal factors. Suppose if a plant layout is not well designed, then definitely there will be a slowdown in the production, and definitely the productivity is going to be affected, right? Material handling, if you are not having appropriate ways of handling the material, then definitely there will be a lag in the productivity. If you have not done the product design properly, and if it is not as per the flow of the machine, then definitely there will be a slowdown in the production. When there is a slowdown in the production, definitely there will be a problem, there will be a drastic drift in the productivity. Then if our work study techniques, if there is no proper ergonomics planned in our organization, then definitely there will be some, it is going to affect our productivity. If there are not, if there is no constant periodic monitoring of your process such as quality control checking and all, then definitely it's going to hamper your productivity, right? So these are certain internal factors that are going to affect our productivity. And what are the external factors? External factors are natural resources, availability of capital, taxation, government norms, market competition, technical training, training facilities, right? So um, suppose the raw material you have chosen and those resources are not available, right? Suddenly they say it's out of stock or something, it's not coming into the product, into the market and all that, then definitely it's going to be the, when the market is not producing the raw material which we intend to do by, then those things come under the external factors, right? Again, the availability of the capital. Suppose if you have claimed for some loan and the bank during the beginning they have given, and somebody suddenly they say there is unavailability of funds, then you have, it comes under the external factor. Then sometimes there will be a huge taxation, like they say if you have made so much of turnover, then you need to pay so much tax for the organized, for the government, then these also come under the external factors. Then sudden change of government norms will also going to affect your productivity, right? Market competition is one of the major factor which comes under the external factor that's going to affect our productivity, right? So this market competition, we need to have a proper survey so as to know which is which is who are our competitors, which product is going to be in the vast demand. So all these competitions will come under the external factors. um, We also need the new skills, whatever the new skills which are in the market. We also need to upgrade them. If you don't upgrade them, then definitely our productivity will be coming down, but that's not a part of the organization. Only thing, it comes under the external factors, right? So next will be factors to improve productivity. uh, how to improve the productivity? You need to keep your employees satisfied. That is the most primitive concept. Primitive reason to improve our productivity will be to make sure at periodic times to give incentives to your employees, to have adequate enough of human resources, and make sure the relationship between their employees are good, and there is a good very very efficient or very very good cost controlling having over your entire organizations, right? Then once when new technology has come into the market or is come into the into the firms, then we have to make sure that we adapt the new technology and make sure that we are also compatible with other markets in the globally, right? Then proper planning and scheduling is also one of the important reasons to improve our productivity. Then we need to have a standardization, and work should be made as simple as possible to achieve, to improve productivity or to achieve productivity. Then as usual, if we reduce the waste, if you reduce your reworks, if you reduce your rejections, then definitely at any point of time our productivity will be improved. Am I clear? Students, you please type your names in the chat section. See, today's questions, I'm going to post a case study in your classroom, right? And you need to analyze the case study, and based on the case study, I'm going to ask the questions in the next class. The first 10 minutes, based on productivity, based on what are the factors to improve productivity, based on that, I'm going to put a case study in your Google Classroom, and those questions we will discuss in the next class. Is it clear? So when I post the case study in the classroom, it is your intended duty to go through the case study and come prepared. That will be the question section for today's class. Am I clear? I hope I'm clear. Does anyone have a doubt in the sections I've covered? Nobody is having a doubt? Has everybody typed your name in the chat section?
Yes, ma'am.
Has everybody typed your name in the chat section?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then with this I will continue. In the next class, I am going to discuss about recent trends in operations management and challenges that we are facing in operations management. Is it clear? With this, I will start solving problems also in the next class. So with this, I'll stop the class. Thank you. Well, if you don't have any doubts, we will close the class for today's session.